8 videos into this new series of videos on this channel, I thought it was about time I took on the world's best spirit, rum. But not only that, take on the world's best cocktail, the Daiquiri. Now in truth, this video could be 5 hours long, but fear not, I'll have you away in less than 4. But I promise you, by the end of this video, your love for one of the world's most iconic cocktails will have grown immeasurably. But also coming up in this video, at some point, I'm gonna give you possibly my favorite ever kind of fruity sort of daiquiri. But I want you to comment right now. I want you to guess what it is. Some of you will already know, but I want you to dive down into the comments below. Type in, what do you think is going to be my favorite ever sort of fun and fruity daiquiri? Cocktail fans, welcome back to the Drinkstuff YouTube channel. We are your one-stop shop for all your cocktail needs, except for the booze. My name is Steve the Barman, and I'm just purely here to help you on your cocktail journeys with fun inspiration, a tiny little bit of education as well, but some fun inspiration to help you impress your friends and family at your next party. Or even better, if you run a pub or bar, stick some of these cocktails on your menus and you will make a ton of cash. So come on then, let's get into the daiquiri. Simple doesn't even do this justice. I mean, it's so basic, but tastes so good. And yet it is overlooked by so many people. I mean, it is just a simple, easy blend of rum, of lime, and of course your sugar. Now fear not, I'm going to come on to the ratios in a minute, because the ratios of your daiquiri are very, very important. But it's important you know your ratios and not stick to a cocktail recipe book. Now look, before we get into the ratios and the measurements, let's just focus on the very, very basic, the 3 different types of a daiquiri to what you need to know. I've got 2 identical ones there. All 3 of these are identical in ratios, in measurements. That's the point I want to get across. They're all 3 identical. The only difference is I've used pineapple rum in there because I know someone's going to drink this in a bit. They're plain rum, they're pineapple rum, but the ratios are all the same. I'm going to make one served up neat in a Nick and Nora. I'm going to make one served up over ice in a rocks glass, and then I'm going to do a frozen one. Now the important thing to note when you're shaking this, it's the dilution, the tiny bit of dilution that you need in a daiquiri. It needs to be ice cold. So make sure you shake it as hard as you possibly can. But I've got the pineapple one, as I said, it's going over ice. This is just pineapple rum, lime and sugar. So that's the one going over ice straight away, rocks style. We then get on to the Nick and Nora style, which I've got here, which I'm going to double strain through a tea strainer or a fine strainer, whatever you want to call it, because you want to get all the tiny little shards of ice. This is my preferred way of drinking a daiquiri. I absolutely love that. But we always get it every single time. It's what about the frozen slush puppies? Well, look, I've brought my NutriBullet in from home. I've just blended this up. This is going to be a bit rigid, but there we go. I've over blended it. We'll cut to the final bit in a second. There we go. Perfect. It actually wasn't that bad. It wasn't as over blended as what I thought it was. But we've got the frozen daiquiri there. As I say, all 3 of those are identical ratios, just shaken, served up neat, served up ice, and blended with crushed ice. Right, so let's get into the ratios or the recipe, the measurements that you need. Now, as I said at the top, do not let anyone tell you this is how the daiquiri should be. Do not let anyone tell you it's this specific ratio, because each and every one of you will have a completely different palate, a different sweetness level. I say it all the time in my teachings, my trainings, my cocktail masterclasses. Put your hands up in the room if you take sugar in your tea and coffee. Half the room will, half the room won't. And it's exactly the same with your cocktails, especially your cocktails like this, because it all depends on your palate, your sugar levels. Now, openly and honestly, when back in the day, and probably even like 5 years or so ago, I started at a 4:2:2 ratio. I'll explain it in a second, don't panic, but a 4:2:2 ratio. These days, these are all made to a 6:1 ratio. Now, how that works, you take your part, whatever your part is. Now for the purposes of this, I've used 10 mil. 10 mil is my part, but to make it easier, I can probably explain it easier in 15 mils for you, all right? So, because we've got jiggers, we've got measures that work in 15 mils essentially. So, what you do is you take your part, whatever your whatever unit your part is, say 15 mils. For me, 6 parts would be rum at its precise moment, or back in the day, 4 parts. So 6 parts for me, 6 15s were 90 mil. Now that is perfect if you're at home. You know, I do make bigger daiquiris at home, 90 mil daiquiris. But as I say, for this, for serving up for a pub and bar, you're probably better to work in 10 mils. So 6 parts would be 60 mil of that. And that's exactly, you can see the size, it's fitting a Nick and Nora perfectly, that's that. So we've got 6 parts, or back in the day for me, it was 4 parts. Whatever your part is, it works, if you're slightly low, so a 422, it'll work better at 15 mil because you get more rum in there. But as I say, I want my daiquiris more rummy now and less sweet. So I've gone for 15 mil, 6 parts. Right, so we've got that. We go, so 6 parts or 4 parts rum. The next level down is 2 parts. That traditionally means the kind of the static. It kind of remains the constant throughout all your daiquiris. So that 2 parts is your lime juice that's coming in there. So again, if I've done 15 mil parts, if I've done 60 mils, so 6 parts rum, I'm then going 2 lots of 15 mils for my lime juice, 30 mil. So I've done 60 mil of lime to 30 mil of, 60 mil of rum to 30 mil of lime. If I'm doing a 422 to start off with, then that would have been, if working in 15 mils, that would have been 60 mil of rum. So we've brought the rum down by 30 mil, but then also keeping it at 30 mil of lime juice. So there's less rum to lime juice, okay, if you're going 422. Now, for me, as I said, it's a 6-2-1. So we've done the 6 parts of rum, we've done the 2 parts of lime. We then want 1 part of sugar for me. If you're doing 422, then it's 2 parts of sugar. So you're going equal sugar to lime in a 422, which makes it slightly sweeter and less rummy. For me now, you will have gathered that a 6-to-1 ratio is very rum heavy with a bit of citrus and a tiny bit of sugar, because I'm letting the rum and the lime juice do the work. So whatever your part is, you want 1 part sugar for my 6-to-1. But if you're doing a 4-2-2 or a 4-2-1 even, you've just got to adjust. I hope that's clear. It should be clear, but let me know in the comments below what would be your go-to daiquiri ratio. Now, there's nothing stopping you, once you go down your rum journey, there's nothing stopping you upping the rum. I know a lot of people that will do an 8-to-1, so 8 parts rum to 2 parts lime to 1 part sugar. It's completely up to you. That's why I said do not let anyone tell you this is the ratio or this is the recipe for a daiquiri. You will all have completely different palates. But then we also have to take account the rum as well, because all rums have different sweetness levels. Even in proper rums, you've got some rums like Plantation have got a tiny bit of sugar added to it. You've got rums like let's just go Flor de Carnia and Dorley's, for instance. They've got 0 sugar added to it. You've got other rums, and I'm still talking proper rums, like Diplomatico and Don Papa, that have got a ton of sugar added to them. So the rum is going to make a slight difference to the amount of sugar you need. So you've got to have a play. In all honesty, the Plantation Pineapple, the Stiggins Fancy that I've used in that rum, is a slightly bit sweeter and fruitier than a normal white rum. So for me, if I was drinking this, I know it's going in the office, but if I was drinking this, I would actually add slightly less sugar to the Plantation Pineapple Daiquiri than I would a white rum daiquiri. Now, the final piece of advice I'm going to give you before we get into variations and fun riffs and all that, and don't forget my favourite ever daiquiri is coming up in a second, my favourite ever fruity daiquiri is coming up. The one final golden nugget of information I want to give you, it's a lot easier to sweeten a cocktail up at the end than it is to sour it back down. Because if you're souring it back down, you've got to add more lime juice and then more rum and then play about with the balances. Whereas if that cocktail right there is not sweet enough for your palate, if you get that little bit there, and that's all it is, you'll soon know, it's not perfectly balanced for you. Just add a tiny bit more sugar. You could go straight in at whatever your part is, like 10 mil or 15 mil, or you could do it bar spoon by bar spoon, 5 mil increments at a time. You might find the sweet spot at like a 6 to 1.5, for instance. It's completely down to you. But remember, it is so much easier to sweeten a cocktail up at the end than it is to sour it back down. So plain daiquiri done. Now it's time to get on to that fun and flavoured stuff. And now when I do a lot of sort of pub and bar training and consultancy, and they're looking for cocktails on their menu, my big saying is don't try and reinvent the wheel. You know, there's no need to come up with all these crazy, weird and wacky cocktails, especially in these kind of high street bars, village pubs, all that sort of stuff. And there's no reason why a village pub cannot have a daiquiri on. But the one thing I say, keep it simple. Have a daiquiri of the week on your menu. And that gives you free license then. You don't even have to mention a flavour on your menu. It just gives you free license to play about and change the flavour up. I say, you know, say a daiquiri of the week. You can keep it on for 3 weeks. You can keep it on for 3 days. Just buy one different, whatever we're coming on to, one different rum, one different flavoured syrup, one flavoured different puree. As soon as that bottle's gone, move on to the next one. Okay, and it just keeps your customers engaged. It keeps them inquisitive. It keeps putting money in your till. And that little simple hack, daiquiri of the week, mojito of the week, cosmopolitan of the week, espresso martini of the week, Tom Collins of the week, that simple hack, margarita of the week, it's so many different things. That simple hack will keep your customers coming back, buying different cocktails and trying it, and more importantly, putting more money in your till drawers. Right, so let's get into it. Let's start riffing and coming up with flavoured daiquiri ratios. Don't forget, my favourite one is coming up. But brands, let's just talk simple swap of your rum of choice. Now, I do prefer sort of a proper out and out rums these days. I do when it comes to this sort of stuff. No, you know, I've got, I think it's that one, isn't it? Yeah. Oh no, I haven't even got it here, but Dead Man's Fingers Pineapple. You could go to Aldi. This is Aldi's pineapple rum. But for me, as nice as that is, I will go proper. I do like plantation. It's there, for example, we've got plantation white rum, got plantation pineapple rum. The better the rum, because that's 3 ingredients, the better the rum in taste, you know, the better the drink's going to be. But that is not discounting any of those, especially in the pub and bar environment, especially in the party environment. You know, you mac a daiquiri together with any one of these, and you've got a banging daiquiri for that purpose. Mango, raspberry, spiced rum, passion fruit, coconut. You do not have to get any more technical than swapping your base rum out. Now, the only point to note with some flavoured rums, again, they will be sweeter than non-flavoured. So for instance, even that range that I had there a minute ago, the Dead Man's Fingers coconut is going to be a lot sweeter than the normal Dead Man's Fingers white rum. So you've got different levels of sweetness even in that range. So it's up to you to have a little play about. But there are hundreds and hundreds of different flavoured rum brands around in the UK. Note, there is a difference between liqueur strength, 25% ABV, 20% ABV, and your 37s, your 40%ers, okay? So again, it's gonna be the sugar level. So 25, there's nothing wrong. If you love the 20, 25s, there's nothing wrong, but they are gonna be sweeter and lower alcohol than a 37, a 40, a 42%. So just bear that in mind with your lime to sugar ratio. Now, just before I get into the fun and flavoured risks, as I say, this video could go on for hours. I'm gonna showcase my favourite syrups and purees. I'm not going to go through the whole range we have. I've got 2 or 3 from each category, from each brand that I sell that are my favourites, but I've kept you hanging long enough. What did you think my favourite ever flavoured daiquiri is? Have you guessed it? I've said it time and time again on my channel. This stuff is absolutely gorgeous. A really good friend of mine, proper rum in there, Ed at Belgrove. I'm going to make some of these up and send it around the office because I've got another bottle at home already of this. This is spiced fig and blackberry rum, and oh my God, it goes well over ice, but oh my God, as a neat, proper daiquiri like that, that is just going to blow your socks off. I will never, I don't think, find, don't get me wrong, I love coconut, coconut daiquiris. I absolutely adore them. But nothing is ever going to come close to that. Now, just before I dive into the syrups and the purees, can I ask a quick favour, please? If you are liking this video, if it's really helping you, then like it. Smash that like button, because that really helps us build the community and put this video in front of more cocktail fans, more daiquiri fans. And if you get involved in the comments, if you get involved in the community, you can make even more friends. So let's do it then. Let's get on. I'm going to give you 9. My top 9 flavoured syrup and puree daiquiris that I think will work a treat. There's no right or wrong to this. As I say, we sell over 150 different Monins. We sell over 60 different William Fox flavours. We sell over 25 different ODK flavours. Not all of them are going to work in a daiquiri. Caramel daiquiri? Salted caramel daiquiri? I'm not sure. Praline daiquiri from Monin? I'm not sure that they're going to work, but certainly the fun, the fruity ones will. So let's start off with Monin. And I could have picked any one of 40 here, but I've gone with these three because I do think these three are my favourites by a long, long way. How do we use them? I haven't even talked there. It's simple. You know, you just simply swap your sugar for your syrup or puree. Some of them should be fine, but there's a couple of caveats coming in here that I'll come to where I do think you need to balance the purees out with just a touch of sugar. But just a simple swap in most cases, especially those kind of syrups, will do the treat easily. Okay, you don't need to faff around, it's just a simple swap. So from Monin, in the purees, rhubarb and white rum, amazing. Potentially rhubarb and spiced rum. Have a play about with different flavoured rums as well. But a rhubarb daiquiri with rum, mind-blowing. The pina colada, I flipping love this syrup. I really do. Pineapple and coconut, essentially, all in one. But oh my God, I did a pina colada Long Island iced tea with this last year. Oh my God, that is so good. But that is a daiquiri with lime, with white rum, simple as you go. And then yuzu. Yuzu gives you a very different kind of thing. It's a Japanese citrus fruit. It's kind of got the sort of the tart edges. And yes, I would use it with lime juice, but it's such a clean, refreshing daiquiri. It is delicious. Now my three ODK choices, I say three. I was convinced I had a mango one here, but I can't find a mango ODK here for love nor money. So I think that might have accidentally made its way home to me. But I would go mango, I would go coconut, and I would go papaya. Papaya daiquiris are delicious. Again, I'm just talking white rums here, plain white rums. You don't need to go and spend money on other rums, but you could if you wanted to. Can you imagine a raspberry rum? Or a passion fruit rum, the Dead Man's Fingers passion fruit rum with coconut in there. So a passion fruit and coconut daiquiri. There is no end to what you can or can't do. The caveat that I mentioned earlier about the sugar, the mango and the papaya, I do think you need to slightly balance out with a touch of extra sugar syrup, just to bring those flavours through because they can be a little bit tart. But the coconut, you definitely don't need to. 15 ml, replacing 15 ml of sugar syrup, that'll work a treat. Now my three ODK choices, I've got two here because I'm going to talk about the third one separately in a second. But to start off with, guava from this is delicious. Guava daiquiri, again, white rum, stunning. Cola daiquiri, let's just face it, it becomes a short Cooper Libre because rum and coke with a wedge of lime is such a world-beating drink. It is. It's, you know, it's so simple but so easy. We're just recreating that as a daiquiri. Cola syrup works a treat. But the All-Star, which I've stumbled across completely by accident, that I absolutely love, involves, and this is a daiquiri, involves two syrups. William Fox rhubarb with cream soda. Cream soda, so I would go 3-to-1 ratio of 3 parts cream soda to 1 part rhubarb. So whatever your part is, let's say, oh Christ, let's try and work this out now. Let's just say 15 mils, let's go, or 20 mils for instance. 20 mils is easy. If you're saying 20 mils is a part, you'll have to do your own measurements. I would go 15 mils of cream soda to 5 mils of rhubarb syrup, but have a little play. But cream soda and rhubarb, for some unknown reason, just blows my tiny little mind. I love that combination. It's so, so good. So cream soda and rhubarb daiquiri, plain rum. Oh, dear God. Now, I think I've mentioned it, but just to confirm, any of those styles, any of those variations, you can serve up all through, and I'm amazed that that's still frozen as it is. You can serve them up anyway, blended, over ice, shaken up in a Nick and Nora, whatever tickles your little pickle. But what I want you to do, when you've got your flavoured daiquiri of choice, take a photo of it, upload it to Instagram, tag us at Drinkstuff in that photo because I want to see what you've got. Or if you're in our Discord community, come and join us. But if you're in a Discord community, upload your photo there because I really want to see what you've got. What are your favourite daiquiris?